Hey there. I want to welcome everybody back to the Confident Retirement Podcast brought to you by LPF Advisors. I'm your host here, Kris Flammang, and joining me are my co-hosts, Colin and Armando, who will help us break it all down this week. They're both credentialed financial advisors here within our ecosystem at LPF Advisors. How's it going, guys?
Great. Thanks for having us, Kris.
Yes, we're just across the hall, so it's easy to do. Today, we're diving into some essential money habits every young accumulator needs to know. When you're just starting your career, these fundamentals will help set you up for long-term success. We're going to cover five big topics today: emergency funds, good and bad debt, automatic savings, understanding pre-tax and post-tax retirement money, core protections, and estate documents. Maybe I was counting on my hand. Maybe that was six things, but we're going to say there's only five. First, I want to give you our disclaimer. The information that we're providing is our opinion, not necessarily that of our firm or the platform. We provide general information only on the podcast and not any customized investment advice. Nothing should be construed as such, financial tax or investment advice. You should consult with your own professionals about your personal situation. Now, let me quickly define what a young accumulator is before we start talking about them, right? Nobody likes to be talked about until they feel like they've been affirmed. Generally, these are people who fall between the ages of 25 and 35. They're just starting their careers and are focused on building a firm foundation for long-term wealth. They have their income at a place where they can do some things with the money and they want to make smart decisions. So now that we've kind of defined what a young accumulator is, guys, let's jump in to the topics for today.
Awesome. Thanks for the intro, Kris. Armando, so I often hear people talk about a rainy day fund or emergency savings. Tell me, what is so important about having one?
Yeah, Colin, to me, the importance is you don't have to rely on credit cards or loans to cover those unexpected expenses. It is crucial to have money readily available for true emergencies like health scares, car problems, and even job changes.
You mentioned credit card loans. So basically an emergency fund would help someone stay out of debt.
Bingo. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It can help prevent you from going into bad debt. Having that cushion there can help you from taking on bad debt with high interest rates. Try your hardest to only take on good debt. Think of things, the good debt, as being money borrowed to build your future. So think like student loans, home loans, or business loans. It's important to know the difference between good and bad debt.
Mhm. Yes, that's a good point because debt can keep piling up, especially when we have these high interest rates, especially on credit cards. So which account should young accumulators store their emergency savings in? Should it be in the market?
No, 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 not in the market, but anything highly liquid, so easily accessible, meaning you have no restraints or penalties in the event of a withdrawal. Make sure to keep it separate from your checking account. Keeping your emergency fund in something like a high yield savings account is an appropriate example.
Absolutely. If it's in that checking account, it becomes easily accessible to you.
Yeah.
So how much do you recommend keeping saved for these emergencies?
Common rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Just think, if you are unemployed for a period of time, how relieving it would be to use that money that's not taken away from your retirement or putting you into debt.
Okay. All right. So for someone that doesn't have that saved up currently, how should we get there? How do they work on getting there?
Yeah, great question there. The key is automating your saving. So have a system in place to move your money automatically is proven to work. As soon as you get paid in your checking account, make it a priority to have these funds transferred to your emergency fund. This also works for other financial goals like contributing to your retirement accounts.
That's great advice. But where should our viewers start saving, once they check off the emergency fund bucket?
Once you feel like you have a good, cushion built up there for emergency savings, I think saving for retirement now will get you so far ahead in the future. So use accounts like an IRA, 401k, or 403b plans that they have tax benefits and can provide growth.
Okay. So can you elaborate more on those tax perks or tax benefits?
Of course, of course. So you're most likely already contributing to your employer's saving plan, such as a 401k or 403b if you're working now. And these accounts are funded with either pre or post-tax dollars. Pre-tax contributions, depending on your income, deduct your taxable income now. And when you take out these contributions in retirement, you pay the taxes on it then. So this is the opposite for post-tax or Roth contributions, where taxes are realized in the year the contributions are made. The benefit is realized in retirement, where distributions are tax-free. Nonetheless, both will go tax-deferred in accounts like a 401k and IRA, no matter if there are pre or post-tax contributions.
I got you. So how does someone decide whether to do pre or post-tax contributions? How do we decide which ones are right for
Yeah, I
them?
think for that question, the best would be consulting with a CPA would be appropriate, as it ultimately comes down to your income, your state tax codes. Many experts recommend a mix of both to hedge your bets against future tax changes and provide flexibility in retirement.
Absolutely. We all know the tax changes are always moving around.
Yes,
Just had
sir.
one.
What else should young accumulators be doing to set their financial future up for success?
Yeah, after you kind of filled out those two buckets there with the emergency funds and saving for retirement, I think young people should shift towards estate planning. Many young people don't think they need to start estate planning just yet, which is when I ask them, what happens if you get in an accident and become incapacitated or unconscious for an extended period of time? Setting up a simple estate plan could save you and your family lots of time, money, and stress.
Okay. What should be included in that estate plan?
At a minimum, there's going to be at least 3 documents that we would like to see set up. So first being a will. This names who gets your assets and who takes care of minor kids if something were to happen to you. A durable power of attorney, that's the number 2. So this is someone that can manage your finances in case you're incapacitated. And number 3, a healthcare proxy and living will. These cover medical decisions and end-of-life preferences. Life is so unpredictable, and these documents make sure your money and wishes are handled the way you want if something were to happen to you.
Okay, awesome. Where does protection insurance come into play for all of this?
Yeah, this is kind of that 4th bucket there. This is another overlooked financial instrument. Insurance can protect you and your valuables, whether if it's life, disability, or umbrella. It is meant to provide you or your estate with an extra layer of protection or income for those you care about.
Yeah, and we could probably do a whole nother session just on insurance, but we'll save that for another day. Okay. So just to recap the 5 things, or 5.5, that we want young accumulators to focus on. Build that emergency fund to cover your unexpected expenses. Use good debt strategically and avoid bad debt at all costs. Automate your savings for both your emergency fund and your retirement to make that consistent and stress-free. We want you to understand the differences between pre-tax, Roth, and post-tax contributions that you're making to optimize your situation. And then have your estate documents and your protections in place for you, your loved ones, and future generations. So that kind of sums it up. And if our listeners have any more questions about this or other financial topics, they can feel free to reach out to us, lpfadvisors.com, or you can email us using info@lpfadvisors.com. Be sure to subscribe and share the episode if you found that this was helpful. We want to thank you for tuning in to the Confident Retirement Podcast. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care and be well. Guys, thanks.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Kris.
Thanks for listening to the Confident Retirement Podcast with LPF Advisors. For more information, please visit lpfadvisors.com. If your ears are pleased and your mind at ease, do share this program with your friends. To subscribe wherever podcasts are found.